Next, let's add a plane. I'm going to hit the S key on my keyboard, and that's going to pop up our handy little shortcut menu. We'll drop that down and click on Plane. Now, I need two references for this plane. My first reference will be this curve. We want it to go through that curve. We know that. And we can see that the first reference says line 1, coincident. So we'll be coincident to that curve. But the plane that it's displaying for us is yellow in the viewport because it's not been fully defined. Just because it's coincident to that curve doesn't give us an orientation. So I'm going to expand my assembly and choose the right plane of the bracket part. Not the right plane of the assembly, but of the bracket part. And now the plane turns blue because it is fully defined. It's going to go through that line and be coincident to it. And then it's going to be perpendicular to the planar second reference. We hit OK, and we now have a plane in exactly the place where we want to be able to mount our speaker. So with that new plane, let's create a new sketch right on it. And then I'm going to grab a circle and just draw it out any old place. It's a little bit difficult in here because there's a lot of stuff going on the screen at the moment. So I'm going to take that and control-click on that curve we created and make those coincident. And then I'm going to grab the center point of that circle again, grab the center line of our fuselage here, and give it a pierce relationship. That way the circle is going to be dead centered on this product. And then we can come in here, and I want to see that this is as far in as it can be, right about there. Now, right now, I'm having trouble seeing what's going on my screen because everything is transparent, and I'm finding that a little bit difficult to handle. So I'm going to go up to the top here, and right over here on the left, there is an Assembly Transparency drop-down, and I'm just going to make that opaque. That makes my woofer opaque in there, makes it a little easier to see what's going on. So let's get this right about there, representing where the inner diameter of our bracket should be. And we'll hit OK, and we can exit that sketch. That'll be just fine. And then we want another one that'll represent what the outer diameter will be. So let's grab that plane again, create another sketch, and this time create a circle again, grab the center point of that circle, control-click the center of our fuselage and make those pierce again. Same thing. Come in here and expand this out. Then just beyond the outside of our speaker. Now, we could dimension these, right? I might, for example, want to take a smart dimension from here to there, right? And put maybe a 0.5 millimeter clearance right around that. And that makes perfect sense, except that we are now making external references in our assembly, which is a very bad thing. We don't want to do that. So let's undo that and get rid of that external reference, and then come up to the top here and say no external references, just to make sure we don't accidentally use that in the future. Because if I create an external reference, then once again, if I open this bracket in its own window, then all of a sudden it's dependent on the assembly and it no longer will be able to solve itself. So we're not going to do that. Instead, let's take this edge and click on Convert Entities here. And it says, that is an external reference, brah. You might not want to do that because I'm going to automatically break that reference because we've checked this no external references thing. That is fine. That is going to give us a curve in exactly the right spot, but without the nasty disadvantage of cross-linking us within the assembly. I'll take that, and first I'm going to fix it in place so I can't accidentally change it. Then I will make it construction geometry so that it's a dashed line. And then I can add my smart dimension between that new curve and our sketch curve. And we'll give that a 1 millimeter clearance, which I think will be plenty. And hit OK. And this time, let's just delete that inner diameter circle we drew. And instead, select one of these curves on the speaker that represents what we want it to be. We'll hit Convert Entities. Once again, it says, are you sure you want to do that? And I'm like, yes, I do, because it brings it in. I can right-click that and, let's see, lock it down so I don't accidentally do anything with it. Now I know it's in exactly the right place. But once again, we should have a little bit of clearance here, so we have room. So let's take that and make it Construction Geometry. I'll just grab that new construction line we created, head up to my Offset Entities tool and offset it outward by 1 millimeter and hit OK. So now we have a clearance on that as well. We'll exit that. And now, if we just take this part and open it in its own part, see we have an inner and outer diameter for our speaker. Perfect.